So a couple of things that I wanted to fix before we're quite ready for the road. So first thing, I wanted to kind of reroute this fuel line a little bit. I really just kind of cobbled it together to make it work. And then this stupid dipstick, can't really tell, but it still looks like it's leaking. So I'm gonna order a new one, get that switched up, but that probably won't stop me from driving it. But we're close. I put the car on the insurance. I have an appointment with the DMV. So we might have tags on this thing here pretty quick. All right, pulled the fuel line. And like I say, it was just a chunk of steel braid I had lying around. And I didn't love the routing in, well, I'm not easily going to be able to make that any different. So for now, I'm gonna kind of cut it down a little bit, cut a few inches off each end, kind of get into some unstretched material and try and find a sweet spot for it so that I don't feel like it's rubbing up against the radiator and I don't feel like it's in danger of the spinning belts. So that's next. We'll see what we can do. I'm just gonna kind of let it dry out a little bit since there was gas in it. I don't want to start any fires when I cut through the steel braid, but hey, that could be some fun video. So a few ways to do this. One way, if you have a cut-off wheel and a vise, you can usually just put that bad boy in the vise and give it a good slice. I like to wrap the hose up with electrical tape. Kind of helps with some fraying of the steel braid when it gets cut. But I remembered I had this beautiful chop saw with a metal blade on it that my neighbor was nice enough to give me. So I'm gonna run that, see if I can not hurt myself and get these cuts made so we can get things put back together. I always use protective gear. Obviously gloves aren't gonna stop this, so that's where care and caution come into play. But safety glasses are a necessity. Since I'm just using clamps on these guys, I'm definitely happy with those cuts. You know, like I say, right now we're just trying to get this car on the road. We're going to drive it a little bit while we accumulate some parts. Hopefully before too long we may start restoration on it, but in the meantime we want to drive it, so we're going to have fun with it. Plus it's easier to move a project car around that runs and drives than say having to do it that way with the dolly. Say hi to my Valiant. Little sneak peek of my Dart, 67 Dart over there. That's my drag car. And the future drag car, 72 Duster. 4-link strut car, rack and pinion, all that fun business. Should be really light, big block, and really fast. But as with all of my other projects, there's a lot of work left to do. So let's get back to work on this. We're going to put this fuel line on. No distractions. Okay, the temporary fix is in. We're not touching the radiator. We're not touching the belt. That's going to get me by for a minute. And now I need to wait. I still have to order the new dipstick. I'm going to just start over. I've tried a couple of different ones, different O-rings, and nothing wants to seal that up down there for some reason. So I'm going to get a new dipstick. And for the time being, I'm going to slap an electric fan on here and wire up a switch so I can turn that on as needed. So this engine, just a little backstory on it. It feels like, well, it could be anywhere from 12, 14 years ago. The Dart over there had this motor sitting in it. And my buddy bought that car at that point. It was kind of a pro street build. Well, he bought the car, wasn't really happy with it. It ran fine, had this, engine and transmission in it, but he wanted, to do something different with it. He ended up deciding to make a race car out of it. and built a 500 Indy motor. And so this came out. And then several years later, in fact, it was about 4 years ago is all, he offered me the Dart and this drivetrain with it as a package deal. So I said, yeah, of course. And so I took the motor I had in this Charger, put it in the Dart, and now here we are with this. Trying to get this thing ready to roam the streets till I accumulate enough parts and money to restore the car. If you are like me at all, you keep scraps of cardboard around for stuff like this. I also like, you know, holding on to rectangular or square pieces, whatever, to mix spotty filler on. That's always good stuff. But in this case, here's my punch list. So there was also a little fuel leak at the filter. So hopefully that's fixed. We don't know yet. I need to vacuum the interior, get things wiped down. I want to wash the windows. There's the dipstick. We still have that to do. I want to put my street slicks. I had some ET streets. Of course, get the old plates off. Then the electric fan. Wire up a switch. And then we can go beat up on the street a little bit. So here in a few days, there is a car cruise that's kind of a monthly thing throughout the warm weather months. Trying to get ready for that. So we've got a few days, we're close. I don't know if honestly if I'll have a fan of the dipstick in by then, but it should have tags on it. In the meantime, work on the punch list and we'll get ready for the cruise. Hanging out in the back seat of the Dodge. This back seat has not been wiped down in, we'll say, a long time. That's probably all I'm willing to admit to. Just trying to get it cleaned up a little bit, make it a little bit more presentable. We'll run a vacuum through it here as well. Even a little dash wipey. Gotta check the visors. Oh yeah, those look magnificent. I do need to sort out the original seatbelt situation. I have something hanging here that used to be, but as far as what is on the seat, not original. They're Chrysler, but I don't know what they came out of. But I needed a seatbelt, so I found what I could find and I got them put in there. But I would like to add that to my list of parts to collect. So if you know anybody or have any yourself, some seatbelts for a 1968 Dodge Charger, let me know. I'd be interested. Unfortunately, not a sponsor. Oh, excuse me. Unfortunately, not a sponsor. But last time I had a windshield installed in something, they left me this nice bottle of glass cleaner. So I'm going to use it and give the Dodge a little due diligence. It's a little better, but I'll let you know for sure when I clean the outside. Still kitty tracks, remnants of dial-in. Moving on to the outside windows. You can see the inside there is still a little bit of something going on in there, so I'm going to go back inside and get that. Not 100% perfect, but we're going to call that good. Reminded me of my window corners though. Those are going to be a trouble spot, I fear. So one day when I start digging into that, I'll let you know. Turn the lights out in the garage for a sec just to see the magical taillights. And to my surprise, no, just kidding. To my happiness, I really wasn't surprised, y'all. They are working. And so do the brake lights, fantastic. Now I'm back here doing a little elbow greasing on the shiny parts. Some of you look at my Bondo bucket, as somebody called it the other day, and ask, why are you giving a crap about this? It's like, because it's my car and I love it, even if it needs paint, even if it needs body work. It's my car and I take some pride in that, and hopefully, as I try to do, that you will all also take that as a lesson. Appreciate others and their cars. One of the nice things about this car, though, even though it's not perfect, I have pretty much all of the trim. Even this one that's not on the car on the back, I do have that one in storage. This bumper's in really nice shape, really straight. Probably get a re-chrome when it's all said and done. All the marker lights are on the car, the flip top cap on the gas cap. Trim everywhere. Shiny, straight trim everywhere. So it's happening. The first, I don't know, do we want to call it legal drive on our city's roads? We're headed over to a cruise. Me and my kid's Duster, 74, nicknamed Daryl. We'll have to introduce you to Daryl one of these days. We're gonna head on over. Oh, we made it. It's a short drive, so that's good, but I still don't have a fan yet. So we were relying on the cooling system to do its job without the help of a fan. And it's a pretty warm day here in Utah, but we made it. Temp only got up to about 200. We'll sit here for a while, let it cool off before we head back home. That's my boy's car, 74 Duster. Right now a slant 6 car. The future holds V8. At least we hope so pretty soon. Found a couple other Mopars too, which is awesome. Nice Demon there and a 65 Valiant. We're gonna wander over to the actual show and see what happens, since we guess we're late. It's already full. recap. So I am back from the car cruise. I made it back, yes. It can't all be easy, right? So it got normal, right, temperature-wise, heading over there. And yes, for those of you that have been watching, you probably know that I still need to put a fan of sorts on the 440. And I thought, man, it's only a mile away. I can go there, it won't get too hot, and we'll be back. So going there was fine. And I stayed there for about an hour and a half and change, maybe 2 hours. And it had cooled down a little, you know, decent. And driving it home, it started to creep up. You got it a little bit over 215-ish, 220. So I mean, not horrible, right? But you definitely don't need it to be up there in that temperature range. So lesson learned: if something seems like a dumb idea, it's a dumb idea. You need a cooling fan. All right. Anyway, so I got things home. Actually, before that, right, I went to start it to cycle the water in it earlier at the show, and it was running, idling fine, and then just shut off. Why? I don't know. So I opened hood, checked a few things. I was getting fuel, checked all my electrical connections to make sure the ignition wasn't doing something dumb. Everything looked good. And then I tried to start it again. Okay, finally it started. So maybe it was just mad at me for some reason for driving it without a fan. Yeah, karma. There you go. So put a fan on your car. Don't be silly, or in this case, don't be dumb. But I justified the crap out of it. It's only a mile. I can do this. The car can do this. No big deal. And it was fine. It really didn't get hot, but a fan would have helped keep it closer to that operating range you want to be in. And we know at the moment it is not ready for a long cruise. To the grocery store to get some fixins. That's about the range right now. And I'm not sure how much I've mentioned it yet on this channel, but this car still is sporting the 456 spooled 8 3/4. That's got to go. If this is going to be a street car, that's got to go. So I'm definitely looking for a center section to swap into this, probably something more in the range of 355s. It obviously does nice burnouts with the 456s. It'll spin cookies, no problem. But I do want to be able to cruise this car. I do want to be able to get it on the highway and go places, do things. So the 456s have got to come out. I won't do it till I find a good center. I'm looking for a sure grip, of course, but yeah, probably about a 355 set. And we'll go from there. But problem number next, however many problems we found on this first real maiden voyage, shifter cable seems to be out of adjustment. Dumb thing wouldn't go into high gear. And so imagine in second gear with 456s, it's really singing, right? I mean, I'm trying to cruise down a 35-mile-an-hour street in second gear at 4,500 RPM, and it really needs to shift, but it didn't. So I've got shifter cable adjusting to do. I've got to get that fan on, and I still didn't fix the dipstick, the trans dipstick leak yet. But man, it was still so much fun. This is my Ratty Dodge. It hasn't legally been on a public street in a long time. It's before this stint, it was a drag car. It only went to the track and probably did that off and on for, I don't know, 10 to 12 years. So it is now a legal road car. I have a street car again. However, as mentioned, it's only going to be my going to the gas station to get some drinks, going into town vehicle for the time being. So I'm going to have to edit my punch list. We'll get to that though and see what happens. Stay tuned for more. We'll fix the stuff and we'll be back in business. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends if you got some Charger fans out there. Let them know about my channel, and we'll see if we can't build something here with it, and you know, hopefully motivate some of you out there to get that project car out of the garage and get started on it. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.